Hi, I'm Corey Driver, and this is Moving Forward. So this week we are in Amos 8 and Luke 16, and we're talking about serving two masters. My call is to work in a business school, and right now, thousands and thousands of students are coming to the end of the first month of classes. Many of them are trying to learn the skills and techniques to become the next millionaire. There are lots of students of faith, various faiths, who are trying to combine their values with their desire to do well in work. And for a lot of folks, these take basically two different flavors. Some folks are trying to earn the most money they can as quickly as possible by really any means. And when they have made it, when they're rich, they plan to give a bunch of money away to causes that they celebrate. A few folks on the complete opposite end of the spectrum graduate and then live a life of intentional or not so intentional near poverty. They're contributing to vital but probably underfunded ventures and doing the stuff that they care about in life, even though it doesn't have immense financial rewards. The thing that we say all the time in our classes is that most people are actually somewhere between these 2 points on a very wide spectrum. Whatever they end up doing, however, most of our students and most of us end up struggling with trying to serve two masters. Serving two masters is, of course, the punchline from this week's parable. Jesus tells a tale about a dishonest servant and then gives a larger perspective on the use of wealth. First, let's turn to the parable. A dishonest manager is found out that he has been doing the wrong thing and living a life of financial corruption. And he is called before his master and he is told to give an account of his books. What have you done? Knowing that he's in trouble and seeing that there's no way out and that other life choices are not great for him, he cooks the books even further, doubles down even further and says, look, I've already cheated. Let's cheat some more. And makes friends by use of his master's wealth and doubles down on dishonesty. The boss can't help but be impressed by the audacity and the corruption to make friends. Now, make no mistake, had this parable continued on, the dishonest manager would still find himself in debtor's prison, right? Like he's going down. The point of the parable is not to say like, hey, it's cool to be dishonest, do whatever. Instead, the point of the parable is to say, look, the wicked know how to give away wealth to make friends. Why don't you? The children of light are really lagging behind the children of darkness in giving stuff away in order to buy influence and friendship. Jesus doubles down himself and says that folks who don't know how to give away physical things to serve humans will not be given the opportunity to be faithful with true wealth to serve God. In language that my students might recognize, if I don't trust you with physical capital, why would I entrust you with spiritual capital? For Jesus, and thus for all Christians, the greatest use of wealth is to give it away to make relationships. All wealth exists for this purpose. Any wealth that cannot be given away by Christians is an idol. Instead of using money as a tool, we become servants of money. This is where Jesus says, you cannot serve two masters. Either you will love the one and hate the other, or you'll hate the one and love the other. You can love God and hate the power that money and greed have on you, or you can serve money and greed, and that will necessarily mean you hate God. If money has such a hold on us that we cannot give it away, that we want to hoard it, and we want other humans to not have it, we worship mammon, not God. Jesus is incredibly clear on this point. So what does serving mammon look like? Amos gives a rather bleak picture. The worshiper of mammon is willing and perhaps eager to trample on the poor and dispossess them. Instead of receiving help and support, the unhoused are criminalized and driven from sight. Just a couple days ago, somebody on Fox News mentioned that the unhoused should face involuntary lethal injection. That's a quote. That's exactly what Amos was decrying. The worshiper of mammon hates how religious holidays get in the way of work and money making. Any time off, any rest, any moment for humans to just sit and realize they might be satisfied and this might be enough is an affront to the worship of mammon. The God of more demands exactly that. Do you see how mammon is in direct competition with the God of Sabbath? This God rests and provides rest for formerly enslaved people who did not get to rest. Amos goes further and describes the practice of defrauding investors and lying about evaluations. In the days where the poor were seen as for sale for a pittance, Amos sees that people are thinking so cynically. Give them a pair of shoes and you own them. Any kind of trifle and they're yours and they'll do whatever you say. And then you can remove all kinds of standards about health and trust, and you can literally sell them garbage instead of food. I wonder if any of this sounds familiar. Humans, I think, do not get to the point where they're looking for opportunities to hurt people and buying other humans on their own. This is worship of mammon, who is a force in the world. And mammon insists that humans build up wealth at every cost. And make no mistake, building up wealth is always relative. If other people have as much as we do, we are not wealthy. We may have plenty. We may have more than enough. But wealth for some requires poverty for others. Otherwise, it isn't wealth. You can't be wealthy if everyone is at the same level. It's impossible. One of my favorite philosophers, Michel Serres, points out that humans, and I would add humans under the influence of mammon, place a high priority on abuse value. That is, humans prefer to get ahead both by doing really well for themselves and, if possible, somehow injuring other people at the same time so that relative wealth is increased double speed. We like to win, but we also like to beat people. Being on the first place podium means that you did really well and you did better than the other people. They are lower than you, literally. The inequity is the point, and that's what Amos is talking about. Making money isn't enough unless they can sweep away the unsightly and the unhoused and force people to do whatever they want, including eating garbage. Jesus says the best and only safe thing to do with wealth is to give it away in order to make friends. Acquiring wealth is inherently dangerous to ourselves and to others. And it makes us not want to share. Not with unhoused folk, not with immigrants, not with any kind of people who aren't like us. That is the first thing that love of money does. Keep it from those others. They don't deserve it as much as you do. Whatever else, humans cannot serve two masters. We will love one and hate the other. Loving God requires hating mammon. Choose wisely. Thanks be to God. Amen.